Hello and welcome back to the Adrian Project. Hello, welcome back. Many thanks for clicking on my thumbnail and choosing to watch my content. Right, for those of you that didn't see the last video, I will put it up there as usual for you to click on, and then you can play catch up. Okay, so like I say, we've got the paint down for the bits that we're not going to be able to get in with the paintbrush after we've glued everything together. So the next part on here, we're going to be delving into the world of water slide decals. As you can see, that's the instrument panel that goes on the front of the cockpit interior, just there. Now, you may not have heard of water slide decals. You'll know all about transfers, you know, the little stickers that you get that you peel off and the back in and you stick down to whatever you're doing. And there you are. With these are called water slide decals because you have to soak the decal that you're going to be using in water, and when it's released itself from the back end, you slide it onto wherever you want to go. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Right, so in there we've got warm water, not hot. You don't use hot water because that can destroy your decal. Warm is fine. So as we can see from the instructions there, we need decal number 11. So Airfix have been kind enough to put it on the edge there. So what you need to do, you cut round. Now you don't have to get right up to the edge of the decal, just give yourself some space and cut around it. There we go. Make sure you put the rest of your decals back, put protective paper back over them because you don't want to get those wet, or else you'll ruin them. So there we go, that's how we've cut it out, and as you can see we've got plenty of the backing paper behind it. Tweezers would be an absolute boon for you doing this, but don't panic if you haven't got any. Just hold it in with your water. So get out of the decal and you hold it in for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And shake off the excess water and then place it face up onto some kitchen roll, and that will soak up some of the excess water as well. Right, so what you need to do is wait for the water to do its job and release. You can just give your decal a little nudge. No, still got to wait there. So we know it's going to be on the front of the cockpit interior there. Just using a little cotton bud again. Just give it a little nudge. Are we loose yet? No. So we can, if you want to, back in the water for a few seconds. Here we go. Put that onto there. Can we give it a nudge? See if that's worked on it. You can see it's done its job and it is now moving around. One tip: never use your finger because decals will stick to your finger and then you come to get them off and you tear them and you can't use them. So okay, so we know that that decal has got to go onto that face there. So what I do, I get a little bit of water on a cotton bud just to give you a little bit of help there, because if you put it straight onto the dry it will stick straight away. But it's like I say, don't use your finger because it will stick. So what you've got to do, if you move your decal to the edge of the paper, just so it's hanging over the edge like that, can you see that? It's just hanging over. And then you take it, right, so trying to do this, take it, right, it's not doing it, so it's a little bit awkward. What you can do, you can use your tweezers to put it into place. I thought I was going to be able to get in there, but it's a bit awkward. So what we do, just, if it will have it, we can just slide that into position just there. Then use the cotton bud just to nudge it across. There we go. So that is now in position. What you need to do is to let it dry. So once you've got it in position and you're happy with it, leave it to dry. So there we go. So that's you put in your first decal in, and automatically it's made that cockpit look a hell of a lot better. So there we go. So that bit you can just chuck away, and that's all decaling done for there. So next thing up is your little pilot. So we already painted him yesterday. Now that isn't the colours that RAF pilots used to wear, but it's the only colours that we had given to us in the kit. So again, as before, you use your scissors. Sorry, I haven't been drinking. Let's cut it, your little figure away from the sprue. There we go. Now he's released there, and now you've got to take your sanding stick, being very careful, get rid of the little nubs at the side. Just letting the sanding stick doing all the work like we did last time. Now you will notice it takes some of your paint off because you're having to do this. You've just removed it from the sprue, so there's going to be no paint where the sprue gate was attached. But we can do little touch-ups when necessary, so you don't worry about that. So there we go. Now again, the little figure needs to go into the cockpit. See if he can go in. Is he going to go in? So it's supposed to be sat back a little bit, just dry fitting this, just to see how he goes in. and I don't think he wants to. Now, take the cockpit half there, we'll see how we will sit. I think should be okay, yeah. I have to work a little bit here just to get him to sit right. Now, I have heard on other people's videos that this pilot doesn't fit in right, and I can see what they are talking about there. He's been a bit of a bugger. He's not wanting to go in. So, what do? Do we chop his feet off? Or to get him to sit in properly? No, this has been a bit of a bugger. This isn't what you need for a starter kit. Now, I think looking at that is dry fit, and he's not sat in his chair properly at all. So I think we might have to do a little bit of surgery on him. Oh, and now we've knocked his decal up. That's not clever. Let's get a bit of water on that because that is not stuck on at all. Right, so there we go. I think what we're going to have to do here to get him to sit right, we're going to have to cut his feet off. Now, you do find this with some models sometimes that you're going to have to, if you want to use the pilot, you can do, or you can just leave it like that. But we've gone to we've gone to all the trouble painting the pilot. So, sorry, mate. I'm going to have to go full Douglas border on you, and we've got to chop his legs off. So there we go. Now that should fit in properly there now. There you go. As you can see, it was his feet that was holding him back all along. Now, you're not going to see his feet anyway when it's in there, so that doesn't matter. Right, so what we need to do now is just I've got paint on his bum. We need to get rid of some of the paint, so the glue will stick better because it's better on raw plastic than it is biting through paint. Okay, so get your scissors just a little in the back of there and scrape the paint off bottom of the seat. There we go. So again, right, I'm going to use as glue, and I have forgot my cocktail sticks. I'll be right back. Okay, and we're back in the room. So we tear a little bit of card off, we'll get his glue. Yeah, we'll do it that way around, because like I said before, we don't want to be going straight in with the glue because you can't control it. So just a few dobs there, put the lid back on. Then we're going to get us a little pilot, and we're going to glue on the bottom of his bottom. There we go. See, you don't need a lot. Just make sure it's got a nice even covering, and then we can put a little pilot into his chair. Like so. Make sure he's in position. Oh, sorry about that. I think I've just done that off camera, and so what I've done, I put him on his chair. God, I'm just so amateurish at this. So sorry. And as we can see, he's in his little chair there. We've glued his bottom, put him into his chair. As you can see, because we've cut his feet off, he does actually fit how he's supposed to fit now, with his head on the backrest. So just let that sit there for a few seconds to dry off. Fantastic, so that's all that part done. So next up, we come in to do the fuselage halves, and that means putting the cockpit interior into one side. We've got a little cap there for your propeller, and then we can glue the two halves together. So let's go. So first off, we need to remove the fuselage halves, don't we? There we go. Putting it away. Once again, if you feel you're safe enough with the knife, just get rid of your nubs. Oops. Keep your knife flat to the piece. Then you take your sanding stick and just get rid of any little bit you couldn't get off with your knife. There we go. And it was under there, wasn't it? Just there. That's another little nub there. Say, you let the stick do the work. Don't press down too hard. You don't press down at all. Move your finger along. There we go. That's that gone. Just the tiniest bit here that's not wanting to go. There we go. That's got you. And the same again on this half. Keeping the knife flat to the part. So that way you're not going to be gouging into the plastic. And you've got the tiniest bit there. We'll just get in with a sanding stick. Your fingernail across. Is that all done? Just a little bit there, isn't there? And onto this bit. There we go. Then what you can do, as always, as we like to say, you can do a dry fit, just to see if the two halves go together as they should. So look at that and that. Just seem to be some kind of little obstruction here. Now I don't know whether it's the pin that put the two parts together. I don't know. So we'll pins that go into the holes. Now looking at that, that's okay. That's okay. There's a bit of an issue with the one at the back. Right, so could be all it needs is just not cutting off. We're not cutting it off. We're just filing it a little bit. It could be that that pin is too big for the hole. So we need that pin anyway. So we're not going to be cutting it off. Just a slight sand. There we go. There is some paint on these edges here which needs to be removed as well. So if we go on these edges there like that, just to get rid of the paint that's on the bits that's got to be glued. So look on there. Is that the same on there? Yep, we've got a bit of paint on there. It's acrylic, it will scrape off, don't worry about it. And then, as we can see, we can dry fit together. And as you can see, automatically, there we go, that is a much better fit. That little gap's gone. Let's have a look at the back. Yeah, that's going to be fine. I think there's going to be a little bit of an issue at the back there. Some reason there's something stopping. If we look at the back there, there's a gap. Now that's because there's something stopping those two parts going together. And again, could be that the little pin just there is just too big for the hole. So again, we don't want to get rid of the pin. We just want to downsize it a little. It could be it's too big for the hole. So again, put those two halves together. That's okay. Again, it's not doing it. Let's have a look. It's all test fitting. It helps you do the job a lot better. Now, squeeze that together. So it's definitely this here that's stopping the parts going together properly. So just work a little down on them. Just do that myself here for a minute. You take a little bit off a time because you don't want to be taking too much off. Come back to your dry fit. As you can see, that is getting a lot better. We just need the most tiniest bit more off of that. It's just that pin is just a little bit too big. This part could be just down to the moulding process where it's just had too much plastic on it, that's all. There we see. Again, it's just the tiniest gap, so it's just a little smidgen more. Let's just take a bit off of that because I think that's standing a bit too proud. See, there's a part there where the pin goes in, and I think it's just standing too proud. It's stopping the model going together as it should. So if it's in the way, we get rid of it. Just sand it down a little bit. See, this is all good practice for when you get onto bigger and advanced modelling kits. That, like I said before, I think it was on video 1, most important bit is probably dry fitting. So as we can see, we can squeeze them together, and that is so much better at that there. You see, just a couple of minutes work on it, and it helps you eliminate these nasty, horrible gaps. Let's give it another, just a slight seam to there. So that's where the problem is. See, this is what I was saying as well about model making. It does give you problem solving experience as well. So put those back together like so. Oops. He says more fingers and thumbs. So as we can see, yep, that's a lot better. That, I think that's about as good as we're going to get it. So when we come to glue it, and we can peg it together, that should be okay. And I've just remembered I haven't got any pegs. I'm just going to disappear for 2 seconds, so amongst yourselves. We don't just throw this together, do we? There we go, I've got my pegs. Right, okay, so we're also going to need A4, which is the little holder. B sprue, get the right sprue for your propeller. So that's A4 just there, so we're going to snip that out. This is a small, really small part, so make sure you keep hold of it and it doesn't go to the carpet monster, because then you will spend forever and a day trying to find it. Okay. So again, I need to get rid of the nubs to make sure the fit is right, because these nubs, if you don't get rid of them, we will stop your fuselage halves going together properly as they should. Okay. Right, so as we can see onto there, it says you don't glue the propeller on, so I'm just going to do a dry fit and see what the fit's like on this. If it's tight enough, you don't have to put any glue on. Nope, no need for any glue there. Just make sure it goes on. Okay. Now to me, that looks like it's going to be standing too proud. So I think we're going to have to cut sort of a millimetre off that, because that pin is too proud. So if you cut just the smallest part off, then you're going to have to go around, get rid of the rough bits. Slide that back on there, and hey presto, that is a much better fit, because there we go. Because before there was too much room for the propeller to be coming out the front, but that's going to have it nice and snug in there. So, okay, we've got to put the cockpit interior into this half here. So what you'll notice about your little parts here, I don't know if it's going to, I'm hoping it's going to pick it up, but if you can see on there, if I can stop my hand shaking, there's a little nick just there, and also there's a little nick just there. Now they will go on, so panel line across there, and they will go on onto that bit there. That's where they're going to be resting. So again, we're going to be needing to take some of the paint off these edges here, because you need to give the glue somewhere to bite instead of going through all. If you paint work, so not much to do, just scrape that off a little bit there and off the bottom there, because you're not going to see them parts because they will be glued inside. So again, we need to dry fit, and as I said before, that's a little message coming in, we'll ignore that. Those two, are they on there? Yep. So we've got, that's how it's going to be going in to be dry fitted. So like I say, you've got those two little nicks there. I've just noticed this this panel's coming off again, starting to get annoying, that. Oh, I'm all fingers and thumbs today, sorry about this. Ladies and gentlemen, there we go, that's you back on, you stay there, behave yourself. Okay, so again, we know that it's got to go on the inside of this line here, so just give yourself a little hand just by wiping back some of this paint. There we go. So we're going to be gluing that side. What I would do again, oh, that's dried. So here we go. Some more glue on your bit of card. So now we're going to be gluing down the edges of your cockpit here. So that is along that part there, and just there, and just there. Anywhere that's going to be touching the side of the cockpit wall is where you need to put your glue. So that's going to be just there. You don't need to go all the way up this because there is part of it showing. So when you've done that, you get your part. We know where it's going to go, and here we go. and that's him inside there. So like I say, just make sure that those little gaps there, little gaps there to help you move them back just a tad. There we go. And then we can get this part just to dry fit. Just make sure we have got him in the correct position. Just needs to go up a tad. There we go. Is that on? I think that is. If you look at that, you've got a little diagram there. It shows you what it should look like. And we've got him in position. Hurrah! There we go. I think he's in position. Right, so then we can take this propeller. We're not going to glue that at all. So what we need to remember is to keep glue away from the little hole there. So here we go. Get glue onto all your parts here. Going along the edge. Don't need a lot. Again, I think we're going to need a little bit more out. Well, the excess off your nozzle, else your cap gets stuck onto your glue. You can hold on to the bottom part of the wing there, where the wing root is. Get some glue on here. Need some glue on the cockpit sides there. Just make sure we have an even amount everywhere. Back up there, just a little more there. There we go. Put your propeller in. And then you put your two fuselage halves together. And that is not gone in straight, so go. no pilot's a bit skew with it. So as we can see, right, so we need a bit more glue, oops, on the inside of here, because there are a few parts that need a bit of help. Again, does it look like it's spinning? Yeah, that's spinning. Get it in the join there. Let's just make sure that this is going to glue together. Give that a good squeeze. Then we can get a peg to hold that together. Then we've got this bit at the back. Let's have a look at this. Do a bit more glue in here. Gaps. Okay. Squeeze those two together. Another peg. Peg on the back of there. There you go. Give it a good squeeze, just make underneath, hope that's okay. Yeah. So there we go, we've got a nice Spitfire porcupine. So that has got the fuselage halves together, your propeller in with the cockpit fitted. Now you need to leave that to let it dry 24 hours, let the glue set, and then when that is all set, you can think about moving on to section 5, which will be fitting the wings on together. And that's the end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed that one. Please remember, if you haven't done so already, to subscribe to my channel. It'd be very much appreciated. And also don't forget to ring that little notification bell. Also, if you've got Facebook, you can follow me at Adrian Bow Project. And if you've got a Twitter account, you can follow me at Project Bower. So, with all that in mind, I'd like to thank you all again for watching, and here's to seeing you all again on the next episode of the Adrian Bow Project.